If you're searching for the dream home but are unable to make up your mind, you've come to the right channel. Hello and welcome to Magicbricks Now. You are watching Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan. We are answering all questions related to buying, selling and investing in real estate today with Mudassir Zaidi. Now, Mudassir is a managing partner at SNZ Business Essentials. Mudassir, welcome to the show. Let's get started with a website query.
Thank you very much.
We have Sohail who's written in. Now, Sohail says that his sister lives in the United States. She owns a property though at Clover Highlands on NIBM Road at Kondwa, Pune. This is 1,450 square feet in size. She bought it in 2000 and currently wants to sell it. How much can she sell it for? Now, NIBM is one area that has seen quite a bit of activity and decent growth, Mudassir.
Yeah, I mean, they've held on to the property for quite a long time. 16 years, hardly anybody holds it if it's just an investment, unless somebody is staying there. But he would have reaped the entire benefit of the entire curve that we've seen. However, if he had sold maybe a few years earlier, he would have made slightly more in terms of returns. I think, Sohail, you can expect in the range of about, for the size that you've mentioned, about 1,450 square feet, you can expect about 1.2 to 1.25 crores for that particular property.
1.2 to 1.25 crores. Mudassir, with your knowledge of how the market has actually moved, just to give a sense to our other viewers, how much appreciation has she actually seen in this property? She's held it for 16 years. How much of an appreciation has she seen?
I would say that he would have made multiple times. In 2000, rates would have been under 1,100 bucks at that point in time. So going up to 9,000 now. He would have made about 7-8 times in that period of time, especially since the real bull period had started between 2003 to 2008, and then between 2008 to 2009 there was a slight lull, and then 2009 onwards till about 2011-12 it was quite a decent run. So 16 years is a longish period of time. He would have made about 7-8 time returns at least, if not more.
Those are the charts of the location for you. You can see that in the last 2 years itself, prices have gone up 12%. And like Mudassir just said, you've actually seen two cycles over there. You've seen prices go up, then not exactly come down, but stay stagnant for some period of time. There was a lull in 2008, and then again that particular market has picked up. Good time to sell, and you should probably just sell it and exit right now, because like Mudassir just told you, you've held it for a long period of time. 16 years is a long investment in the real estate market. Moving on, we have an email query that's come in. Manish Pratap Singh wants to know which are the best sectors to invest and live in Gurgaon. He asks how good an area is the Golf Course Extension Road. Are there any good projects offering studio or 1 BHK options? And if yes, what is the price bracket? He wants to live and invest in that area. What would you say?
Obviously, there is no one sector which is the best. Obviously, various sectors according to various needs that are there in Gurgaon. However, the area that is mentioned, which is Golf Course Extension per se, now this was an area that started really gaining prominence between 2009 onwards. So there were various areas that Gurgaon progressed into. So once Golf Course Road and Sona Road really got sold pretty well, This is the road that connects. Obviously, this is part of Southern Peripheral Road, but this also connects Golf Course Extension and Sona Road. And this was something in between. So on one side, we had Golf Course Road, which was the most prime area within Gurgaon, where the topmost property currently, for example, is in the range of about 30 odd thousand. Between 30 and 35,000 rupees per square feet. You have a majority of properties in the range of about 15 to 20,000 rupees a square feet. On the other side, you had Sona Road, where most of the properties were in the range of about 8 to 11,000 square feet. Rupees per square feet. And Golf Course Road, which was basically comprises of multiple sectors, a very, very large area that we're talking about. So we had properties which were on the SPR, and then going right up to the edge of the master plan of Gurgaon, the end of Gurgaon, after which the entire Sona master plan area would start. So it's a very large area, and there are multiple developers here in this entire area. And you have developers like IREO, EMAR, Pioneer, Best Tech, etc., having multiple projects. This particular area was largely targeted as a slightly mid to higher end kind of developments per se. So you wouldn't find too many 1 BHK or studio apartments out here. It's largely 2 BHK to 4 BHK. Current prices have come down to some extent. At one point of time, they had really risen quite high, because this was considered to be a destination which was going to be on par with the Golf Course Road per se. But because of the high supply, and it's just about getting delivered now. A lot of projects are just about getting delivered. So you still have to see occupancy coming in and the area settling down. So prices in this area are roughly in the range of about 7,000 rupees a square feet, going up to about 12,000. There are more opportunities available in the resale as well. Depending on the project, depending on where exactly it is, there could be significant discounts available as well. But largely 2 to 4 BHK, good area to live in. Expect it to be one of the better areas within Gurgaon, higher end, because the projects on the main road are largely commercial. The projects behind the commercial areas are all residential, so planned well, wide roads per se, but we'll have to see how that eventually pans out. So good area to live in eventually. It's yet to settle down fully, but in the next 3 to 5 years, I expect it to be one of the better areas to look at within Gurgaon.
Right. Mudassir, very quickly, I'm looking at the line graph over here, which is showing the price trend. Prices have gone up around 1%. Which means the market has largely stayed flat, which, like you said, there is a lot of supply coming into the market. Now, would you advise him to look at the secondary market as well? Will he get, is there a chance that he would get better deals in the secondary market as opposed to, buying directly from the developer?
Definitely, Kavita. Gurgaon is a market which has a very high proportion of investors who only got in to make a quick buck. And when the tide turned around, they didn't get the appreciation that they were expecting. Many of them have actually started losing money on it, because it's not that they've invested it fully out of equity. Many of them have taken loans to invest, and if you're getting loans at 9-10%, and if your property does not appreciate by 9-10% at least a year, which means that you're actually losing money on that particular property. So there have been many investors who had invested big time in these projects. Many of them would want to exit and cut their losses, or even if they are still in profits, at least get out before they start losing. So it's possible that there could be decent investors available willing to cut losses and get out. My sense is one should definitely look at the secondary market in this area, especially since it is not yet fully settled down. Occupancy is not fully gone up, which means there are a number of investors that are still there in those projects. Right. Certainly, there would be decent discounts available if one looks at it.
Right, Manish. So that's your answer there. Great location to buy into. And it is a location that is coming up quite well, and like Mudassir said, it's still settling down. But do have a look at the secondary market. Chances are in the resale market you will get yourself a better deal. Rajiv Jhaveri is on the line from Mumbai. Rajiv, how can we help you? What's your question?
Yeah, hi. My question is that I have a 2 BHK flat in Virar West in Agarwal Paradise.
Okay.
It's opposite to New Viva College and D-Mart. Now, I had purchased this in 2013, which is a ready possession. And till 2015, the prices were 5791
Okay.
of this particular builder, Agarwal Group, Agarwal Paradise. So now it is 5,000 rupees. Now from here, can you guide me out that till 2020, if I'm going to get good returns, then I will have to hold it, or should I sell it right now? So what are the future prospects?
Okay, Rajiv, tell me this. You said prices were 5,791 rupees per square foot till 2015 and now it is 5,000 rupees.
Yes.
From where are you getting these prices?
Well, these are the prices of the builders basically, and the rates were, in these dates also the flats were sold in my building.
Okay, so you're saying that the developer has recently sold flats at 5,000 rupees per square foot?
No, yeah. Recently, from 6 to 8 months, the prices have gone down, and he has sold at around 5,000.
Fair enough, Mudassir, that's a fair concern to have. He has invested in a project and the rates were going up and now suddenly they have gone down. The builder is selling at a lower rate. What are the prospects for Virar West and especially for this locality?
See, I would treat it at a slightly macro level at the moment rather than going into specifically this particular project. Overall, my sense is we've looked at the bottoming out of the in the real estate market. Of the cycle of the downturn that had started in 2012, 2013. We've already seen about 3-4 years of that downturn. Real estate cycles are of these kinds, generally bull periods of about 5-7 years and bearish periods of about 3 to 5 years as well. My opinion is that we are now going to see the upturn coming in. There are various factors that one can look at. RERA is one of them. I've been talking about this earlier as well. RERA implementation will happen. I would, overall, generally, the confidence and the sentiment with regard to the real estate market will start going up. It's also, even though this is a ready property that, Rajiv is talking about, but overall sentiments do matter. Sentiment of buyers within the under construction properties do affect the sentiment within ready properties as well. So my sense is overall sentiment should start improving once RERA gets implemented. Secondly, GST implementation will happen, and the effect of GST onto GDP, etc., will take a couple of years, and we should start seeing growth rates getting better, which will also affect the business confidence and the sentiment on the market. So my sense is there are major factors which have now happened, which will start taking effect in times to come. Now the other thing is with RERA, etc., the discussions around the cost, etc., going up, property values going up because of RERA implementation coming in, etc., are also there. Though there are arguments of those kinds as well. So my sense is pricing, confidence, sentiment, buyer fatigue, which has been there for such a long time. People have waited on the sidelines for the last 3-4 years. My sense is of that people will start coming back to the market when they see that all these things are implementing, and prices and confidence should start going up. So my opinion would be that Rajiv should wait. If you've held on for these years, holding on for some more years should give you the benefit. Unless you're getting some swap deal where you're able to get out of this at reasonable prices, even if it is lower than earlier, but you're able to get into something which is even more distressed price, then that's another matter. You can do a swap trade. But on a general level, I would suggest that you hold on to it for the next 3-4 years.
And if you take a look at the price graph that we are showing you, you will see that, Rajiv, that prices have actually been inching up steadily in the Virar West market over the last 2 years at least. Not a great run up in prices, but 8%, and let me tell you that most of the markets across the country have recorded sub 10% growth. So keeping that in mind, this is a pretty average and pretty decent growth rate that you're seeing in that particular market. Also, Mudassir, and if you could very quickly tell me this, we know that there is a huge amount of oversupply in the Virar market. A lot of projects are under construction, nearing completion. Plus, balancing that out with the fact that now there is a connectivity boost that will come into this market. There is talk of an elevated corridor to Churchgate. There are a lot of other, roadways, etc., that are being made. So, considering all of that, do you see better prospects for the Virar market once these projects are completed and delivered?
No doubt these projects will start helping. See, what happens is generally in the Indian context, and especially in large cities like the Mumbai metropolitan region, generally infrastructure comes in pretty late, and it's generally as an afterthought that let's do something now that it's getting so difficult to commute or go towards where the places of work are. So infrastructure does help. However, it is not so much to the extent that it would be a game changer. No doubt things will start improving in terms of commute times, etc. But people's behavior change accordingly. So if now people are traveling by train, or if they don't want to travel by train and will work nearer to home, when all these infrastructure projects start coming in, they'll go to longer destinations, further away destinations to work, etc. So overall infrastructure as a factor does help overall. Accessibility does help overall, but more than anything, it is the other social factors, safety of surroundings, the gentry in that location, schools, colleges, malls, etc. Those are far more important. People from Virar have been traveling to Mumbai to work. They will continue to do that, but it's more likely these social factors which will be far more important than just the infrastructure factors to look at from Virar.
Right, and as somebody who's lived in Mumbai for a long time, I can tell you this, that the social profile of Virar is obviously definitely changing. Moving on to Bengaluru now, Mangesh has called us. How can we help you?
Hi, this is Mangesh here from Bengaluru. Actually, I have identified...
Yes, Mangesh.
I have identified this Tranquility in Buddhagere Cross, and I wanted to buy a 1 BHK, but I am confused with 1 or 2 BHK because I have not seen the trend of 1 BHK in Bangalore compared to Mumbai and Pune. So whether it is a good buy to invest in 1 BHK flat in Bangalore or not, and I have identified Prestige Tranquility. So what is your view on buying 1 BHK? What would be the prospect in next 7 to 8 years for holding such a ready-to-move-in property?
Okay. He wants to know whether a 1 BHK moves in the Bangalore market.
Kavita, my suggestion would be that if Mangesh has the budget to get into a 2 BHK will always be a safer bet. 1 BHKs generally we have seen moving for a couple of reasons. One is, especially in markets that Mangesh just mentioned, which is Mumbai, Pune, etc. When properties become very expensive and it becomes difficult on an overall perspective to really get into property, people either there is a budgetary constraint, or there is the properties are just too expensive. That's when people go in for 1 BHKs, etc. The usual trend is that 2 BHKs and 3 BHKs are the most popular configurations. People generally buy those, start a family, etc. The 2 BHKs are generally most preferred. So unless there is a constraint, you can't get into a 2 BHK, then a 1 BHK would be fine. 1 BHKs also certainly have a demand generally for people who have limited budgets. Secondly, for people who are bachelors or single or are are students, etc. Generally, there is a rental demand for these as well. So investment for renting it out to students, bachelors, etc. Or early stage people who have just entered their employable life, who've just started working, etc. For them, it makes sense because it's not too large an investment. The rentals are controlled, so therefore there is an opportunity to basically buy it and rent it out to individuals who will want lower rental outgoes. But generally, from a point of view of families per se, 2 and 3 BHKs would be a far more safer bet than a 1 BHK.
2 and 3 BHK is a safer bet, and that essentially is what is moving fast in the Bangalore market. However, if you're looking purely from the point of view of rentals and there is a budgetary constraint, like Mudassir said, then you can probably look at a 1 BHK. And frankly, Mangesh, the basic thumb rule is this: buy even if you're looking to rent out property, invest in and rent out property, you should ideally be buying property in which you can live. If you can live in that property, chances are you can rent it out that easily as well. M.Y. Ahmed has dialed in from Pondicherry now. How can we help you, Mr. Ahmed? What's your question?
Yeah, actually, my question is, I want a property flat in Hyderabad,
Okay.
the area of Mahidipatnam or Toli Choki,
Okay.
around 40 to 50 lakh rupees. And I want to know whether my value will appreciate and it is viable to buy, or it is a good deal or not. I want to know.
Mahidipatnam or Chauri Chowki, he says 40 to 50 lakh rupees budget in Hyderabad. Should he buy? Should he invest at this point in time? What kind of appreciation can he expect?
I think the overall scenario within Hyderabad has improved quite a lot since the time of the division of states, Telangana and Andhra. There used to be a time where people were very, very concerned about what will happen with Hyderabad, etc. And the market had actually taken a huge beating in terms of volume sales, in terms of prices. Now, once that is now gone past, Hyderabad still retains its importance. It is a very big center for IT per se, huge center for health, pharma, etc. There is a lot of demand for people staying and working here. Overall, as I said, the earlier issues of the division of states, etc., have gone away. So, good time to invest into it. The overall markets are depressed also because of general downturn, which I said earlier in the program as well, that things are starting to bottom out, and I expect in the next 2-3 years to start improving and prices to start rising once RERA implementation happens, GST implementation happens, GDP growth, etc. will start happening. My sense is good time to buy. However, I would also, unless there is a very clear priority towards Mahidipatnam and Toli Choki, I would also ask Mr. Ahmed to look at northwest Hyderabad. There are areas like Haider Nagar, Kondapur, Chandan Nagar, Miapur, Nizampet, etc., where reasonably priced properties are available. These are areas which are near the location of high-tech city and Madhapur, etc. And therefore, it is a very, very important IT corridor in this particular region, and therefore chances of people working here and buying here around this vicinity are very, very good. So my sense is people should this northwest Hyderabad is a good area to look at as well, apart from Mahidipatnam area.
Right, good market to invest in. Look at the northwest area because that is near the IT corridor. And if I could just pull up the prop index for you, which my team will put up just in a bit there, put up in a bit. The thing is also that Hyderabad has seen a lot of commercial demand come in, a lot of demand come in for office space in the last 1 year. which will eventually play out in the residential market demand as well, which is why Mudassir is also saying that it's a great time to invest in the Hyderabad market. And if you can look at the prices over there, you'll see that they have actually started inching up. Prices have gone up and are now averaging around 3,400 to 3,500 rupees per square foot. So that is a market that is doing pretty well at the moment. With that, we come to an end of the show. That's it on today's episode of Property Hotline. Thank you very much, Mudassir, for joining us, for answering all those questions. And if you have any questions related to real estate, this could be anything, buying, selling, investing, like we answered today, questions related to home finance, property taxes, or legal issues, do send them in, IDs flashing on your screens. We'll get the country's top experts to answer every single question. That's a promise. Thank you very much. Keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.